up, y'all? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's talk about growing up hip hop. This is season 7, episode 4. Honestly, this was a filler episode. It pretty much was setting up for the next episodes to come, but nothing really happened in this episode. When the episode opens up, we see Sean and Little Twist together. They're basically going to a facial plastic surgeon to pretty much help Sean because he decided he wanted to get hair restoration because his hairline is receding to the back and he don't like it. And I understand that because I think Sean is in his early 30s, maybe mid 30s. Most people feel like a receding hairline is like, something that foreshadows into like your 40s, definitely your 50s. You know what I mean? But if he gets anything close to what like LeBron James has, he'd be good to go. For $20,000, I hope it's like what LeBron has. We find out that Sean and TT are kind of at odds right now, mainly because TT wants to move permanently, or they have decided to move permanently to LA, and Sean is not too happy about it, mainly because he's just kind of like, it's too much of a commute and the plane ride is not enjoyable. If you don't know, we all found out last season that Sean works in Jamaica. He goes back and forth between Jamaica and the States, and he's just like, this ain't what I wanted for, for my life. He said it takes a lot of time away from Tahira and my son, and it's just like, it's not good for me. But TT wants to live in LA. She feels like LA is the best place for them, which is understandable if you're somebody that has grown up in that area. And we know that TT liked LA. So I understand why she wants to stay there. So throughout the episode, we saw them actually go look at a house. I think they said it was like $3.1 million. And it was a nice house, but I understood why Sean was like, we need to slow down, because where the house was placed, it was pretty much in a box. Like there were on both sides 2 considerably larger houses on the side of them, which growing up, that's something that I have always, like, that's been instilled with me, that another house should not be that close to you. So I'm like that. So I'm just like, if I'm gonna buy a house, I want distance. Like, there are plenty of subdivisions where there's a considerable amount of distance between another person's house where it doesn't feel that, like, you don't feel like you guys are up on each other. And for I think they said 3.1. Either way, the house was worth, I think, over $1 million. You should be able to get what you want for over $1 million. And I wouldn't spend that much on a home, and I'm not happy with it. So they still have some things to mull over. I will say, Sean's accent, I can't tell if it's a black accent or a Boston accent, because I feel like Sean is from Boston. I got to Google to see where he's from, because sometimes it sounds like a Boston accent, because I've met people who are of a whiter hue from Boston, or like northern areas like New York and Boston, and even some parts of like New Jersey, that they speak like Sean. And I'm like, okay, you not thinking this is how you're supposed to speak when you're around black people. But sometimes I'd be like, I don't know, but I feel like he's from Boston. But I like Sean. I think Sean and TT make a cute couple, and he seems like he's doing right by her, because there was a point in time where we was like, girl, is he out here cheating on you? I hope you're not marrying him for that baby. You too pretty for that. You're too pretty for that. So let's move on to the next scene. All right, y'all. So the next couple of scenes were of Vanessa talking about getting the fat sucked out of her stomach, which she did. She got like non-invasive lipo. It sounded to me like she got cool sculpting, which basically means they freeze the fat in your stomach, and then your body is supposed to ingest that or absorb it. I haven't heard that many good things about it, especially if you have more weight on you than what Vanessa had. Like, cool sculpting is really for people that got like a little bulge. Now, if you got a gut like myself, yeah, it does nothing. It does nothing. But yeah, I don't know. This was a stupid waste of time. Honestly, I don't get why Vanessa and Angela are still on this show. I got why they were there the earlier seasons, like maybe seasons 1 through 3, because it was like a marketing purpose, but like they don't add anything. Like this storyline didn't need to be a storyline in the show. And it's like when Tanise and JoJo could be on this show and it'd be fine because JoJo is cool with virtually everybody on the cast, and Tanise to a certain extent is as well. And she normally knows how to like vibe with everybody. Plus, their stories are a lot more interesting than Vanessa's story or Angela's stories. Like Tanise dealing with postpartum or her situation with her father is way more interesting than us watching or listening to Vanessa get the fat sucked out of her stomach. Mind you, Vanessa isn't even fat. Like, if we gonna call a thing, she's not even fat. And I don't really care when people get procedures. As long as my take has always been like, as long as you've done your research, you're going to somebody that is board certified and it's a credible like doctor, and we aren't cutting any corners because you want a discount because you only got one body and you can't get another one. I'm cool when people do those type of cosmetic procedures. If this makes her feel good about herself, great. I just get sick of like not Angela, but Vanessa acting like she's so insecure. And it's like, I don't know. She's just like, I guess it's just a stark difference to like when I was younger, like a lot younger, watching Run's House to now. And it always feels like she is either complaining about not being close with Angela or being left in the dark about certain things, or she's talking about her body and how she's insecure about it. When it's like, girl, you're not fat. You don't know what it means to be fat. So this whole situation of you being upset, and I'm not taking it away from her, even though it probably sounds like that, because I do understand that body issues can affect everybody. People who are probably, and we know it can. There's people who suffer with many different eating disorders and body dysmorphia, but I guess it just sounds weird coming from her because it's just kind of like, is this the best that you can give us? Like, you're married to a Wayans, you have a daughter, like, is there nothing else? And I feel like there isn't anything else, so why are you on this show, lady? That's just me. So the next scene we have is of Brianna. Brianna's job got employed to host a wellness event. It looked like a vibe. I'm not even gonna lie. A pool party, everyone singing, eating good food, and just enjoying people's company. That looks like fun. They asked her to sing. She sounded good, but I just was like, she needed to project more. But she kind of gives vibes like she does like that whisper singing that sometimes Summer Walker and Jane Aiko do. Or Janae Aiko do. But it sounded good. We see Brianna and Sakoya sit down and have a conversation. And Brianna's kind of like, girl, where your mama at? I love your mom. She's like my big sister. I enjoy talking to her. And Sakoya basically was like, we not seeing eye to eye right now. We not cool. And Brianna's like, man, I don't like that. She was like, I like the relationship you have. And I like the fact that Brianna didn't diminish Sakoya's feelings about the situation, but she did give her facts. She pretty much told the girl, like, that's your mom's body. Like, if she wants to spread it around or wants to be with Lazy, then she has that opportunity and that's her right. But it is kind of wrong that she did not communicate that with you, with her being your manager and him being your mentor. And Brianna even said, I'm not going to force you to have a conversation with your mom, but I do think you guys should have a conversation because at the end of the day, that's your mom and y'all have a good relationship. Y'all are just in a weird spot. And at first, I thought it really was that her mom didn't tell her. And I think that's what it is. But as the episode continues, you can pretty much tell that Sakoya is just having a hard time, that her family dynamic is shifting and she doesn't know what to do. So we move on to this scene of Lazy and Tiny meeting up at the Airbnb, because that's an Airbnb, y'all. That's an Airbnb. It is too sterile in that for that to be somebody's home. Like, it don't even look lived in. So Tiny and Lazy are at the Airbnb. They sit down and they're having a discussion. And the other fact why I know this is an Airbnb, the fact that they didn't put that fruit in bowls, it gave very much like, I don't want to wash these people's dishes. That's what it was giving. But they sit down and they have a conversation. And Tiny is just expressing to Lazy how she just can't believe that Sakoya gave her that type of energy when they had their last interaction. And Lazy is kind of like, yeah, but we didn't tell her. Like, we should have told her what was going on between us, but we didn't tell her. And Tiny's whole thing is like, I'm kind of upset, but I am happy that it's out in the open because it feels like a weight has been lifted. She also tells him about how Sakoya was like, she don't really like the fact that you're a rapper, and she knows rappers be out here breaking girls' hearts. And then Lazy was like, 20-year-old Lazy, yes, but the man that I am now, not so much. And they just talk. My thing about this situation is I don't fault Tiny for wanting to move on from her husband. Like, being tied to or being in a relationship with someone who has alcohol and drug abuse issues is a lot. It can be taxing. But where I fault Tiny is that you keep calling Sakoya an adult, but you weren't an adult and you didn't take the initiative to sit your child down and have an adult conversation. Same with Lazy. They should have sat her down together and told Sakoya, like, hey, me and your father, we're getting a divorce. I see no point in us continuing this relationship. I want to be in a different situation. I'm also going to pursue this relationship with Lazy. We're telling you this because we want to respect you I'm going to respect you as your manager, as your mom, and he wants to respect you as your mentor. Now, if they did that with Sakoya and she was still acting this way, then I could totally be like, yeah, you tripping. But I understand Sakoya's frustrations because it's like, you didn't tell her. And then you have everybody else talking around her. And it's like, why am I hearing information about you and you're my mom and my manager? And you're dating my mentor. Get it together. Get it together. So we then have a scene where it's JoJo, Tanise, Vanessa, and Cree. And I guess they got another Airbnb because everybody's still in LA. And they're talking about going to Sakoya's skating party. So Sakoya is inviting everyone to come to the skating party. They start talking about what happened at Lazy's party because we remember that JoJo and Tanise weren't there. They were in New York celebrating for their son's first birthday. And so they started talking about like what the issue is. And Creed was like, well, she was talking about me. They play the clip again of Brianna being like, does she really know the Simmons or is it just for TV purposes? And honestly, I feel like it made Creed look stupid because JoJo was like, I ain't take offense to what she said. Tanise even was like, on Brianna's behalf, I think it's just a miscommunication because she was just answering questions. Then you got Vanessa, who it seems like she wanted a problem, where she was like, I don't like that. Why did she have to group us together? I'm like, dummy, y'all always come together. Y'all never really be wanting to film with the cast like that. And it's like, y'all have to be clicked up. So I'm just kind of like, of course she's going to say that. And honestly, Cree really wasn't filming with anybody last season other than Savannah. And y'all, it was either Savannah or it was the Simmonses. And y'all are related, so of course people are going to address you as that. So I was like, Vanessa, shut up. And I was glad that JoJo was like, I wasn't offended. And that Tanise was like, I think it's a miscommunication. Because when you listen to it, yeah, you could kind of be like a little like, why she talking about me? But she didn't say anything derogatory. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people have been pointing out that Brianna didn't start saying anything about Cree until Cree was on that whole interview tour on YouTube where she started saying like slick comments about TT and Brianna in her interviews with other YouTubers. So it's like, if she has something to say about y'all, she could say something. Because I don't remember who Cree was interviewing with, but I remember her saying that some of the people's fan favorites are rude and they drunks. So everyone automatically assumed that she was talking about Little Twist and Brianna. So it gave people pause, like, oh crap, I hope they're not like that. But now when we see you on TV, you're showcasing the worst parts of yourself. At least they got common sense to let it be behind scenes. But they tell Cree, I think y'all should sit down and have a talk. And JoJo even was like, you don't really want to play them games with Brianna because she wins at those games. Just let it go. So they say, like, they tell Cree to come with them to Sakoya's skate ring event and have a good time. So majority of the cast comes to the event except Angela and Vanessa. And, Egypt and Sam don't get invited to nothing. They got to stay in LA, in Las Vegas. But we have a sit down where it's Aaliyah, Sakoya, Tanise, and Cree. And Cree brings up like what's going on with Sakoya and her mom. And honestly, what Cree was saying was actually good advice. But I think from Sakoya's point of view, it's like, girl, I just invited you here. We're just now getting somewhat cool. Don't be giving me any advice about me and my mama. Just be glad you got invited to this party. Okay, as well as I don't get why Cree is always half naked. Don't get me wrong, the body be bodying, but it's like, girl, put on a t-shirt and some pants. I know it's cold in that skating rink. Skating rinks are always freezing. They're always freezing. That's why everybody be in there skating with like some jeans on and a hoodie or a long sleeve shirt. And if they gonna wear shorts, it's gonna be some like shorts and a t-shirt. But you're not gonna be out there naked unless it's like a party. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was like, Cree, I get what you're saying, but she not taking this. It's not marinating in her brain the way you think it is. We then see Brianna and Twist have a sit down, and Twist is like, what's up with you and Cree? And she's like, I don't know, she got an issue with me. And Twist is like, well, cause y'all seem to get like, you know, can y'all talk? So they have a sit down. So they have to sit down, and honestly, nothing was accomplished. They both is matching each other's energy. They just don't trust each other. Brianna basically is like, I don't really have an issue with you, but you got an issue with me, and I give everybody the same energy. The way that I create relationships is, you know, we get to know each other. You didn't really get to know me, but you was giving me smoke. And Cree's whole thing is like, I don't really want to get to know you after you showed me what you are. I don't think Cree should have referenced that she got to keep a blade in her purse when she around Brianna, because I'm like, that's going to put someone even more on the defensive, because it's like you're outright saying that either you deem me a threat or you mean me harm. And the whole like, I'm from Miami, that's nothing to me, girl. And this is me personally talking. I've had people be like, oh, I'm from Compton. Girl, I'm from the suburbs of the South. A fade is a fade that is a fade. Like, keep talking funny and I might pop you in the mouth. Like, that never resonates with me when people are like, well, girl, I'm from Detroit and I'm from the suburbs of Virginia. What we talking about, you know? But nothing was accomplished because both of them in their green screens were throwing shade at one another. Cree basically said that Brianna was inebriated, so there was no point in having this conversation with her. Like, she just listening to her and letting it go out her ear. Brianna's whole thing is like, I don't trust many people. I don't trust people as far as I can throw them, and that's a big lady, and I'm pretty strong, and I know I can't throw her. So they not cool. They not gonna be cool. And it looked like next episode they gonna have beef, which I'm looking forward to see, because if they really were to get into like a scuffle, I feel like Brianna would win, but I feel like she would have her work cut out for her, because like Brianna said, that's a big lady. And I'm thinking when Brianna says she's a big lady, she's referring to Cree's like height and like stature. Cause Cree gives very much Meg the Stallion vibes. Cree is a stallion. I feel like Cree is probably like 5'9", maybe 5'10" or 11. And then she got a BBL body. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of stature for a lady. And she looked good. So I got what Brianna was saying. So we have a scene where Lazy pops up at the skating ring. Sakoya ain't happy because she didn't invite him, but they have the conversation that they should have had before all of this started. And Lazy basically says like, you know, I like your mama. I respect you. I should have told you. We didn't tell you, but here it is. But I'm going to take care of your mama. Pretty much. And Sakoya being like, don't hurt my mama. Like, that's my mama. I love her. And she also talks about how, you know, my dad is in limbo and I hurt for him. And that's when I realized that, like, she is mad that her mom didn't tell her. But I think she's also struggling with the fact that she didn't expect her parents not to be together. Maybe she thought their relationship would weather the test of times, especially with all the things that their dad has probably put them through. But Tiny deserves to be happy. She deserves to find somebody and feel loved and respected and not have to worry about the stresses of that person either dying from alcohol poisoning or a drug overdose. But I do understand Sakoya being upset and having a hard time dealing with the fact that her parents are no longer going to be a unit, and that's not where you thought your family would be or how your parents' relationship would end. But yeah, we see Twist and Sakoya flirting throughout the episode. I don't think nothing's gonna happen between them. Twist still seems like he in love with that other girl. Or he just saying it just to say it. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.